with the pledge. Terry, will you do the honor of the prayer and the pledge? Please stand.
We'll go to the Lord in prayer. Lord Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day. We pray that you bless this meeting, bless our officials and city officials, Lord Father, and our citizens and our staff here at the city. They be led by the Spirit of God and the right thing to do, the decisions made for the city of Father, for the citizens. We thank you for all your blessings, especially for what you did at Calvary, as you died on the cross for the sins of mankind. Thank you for your death, burial, and resurrection, your soon coming again. Do remember those that has cancer and all these different diseases in the hospital and nursing homes going into surgery. Remember our veterans, Lord Father, and remember, Lord Father, those in the military. You give them your divine protection. Remember our country. This country come back unto God according to the Word of God. And we thank you, Lord Father, for things as well as they are. Do remember our young people. Hedge them in, Lord Father, from danger, and bless them there at the school. Thank you, Lord Father, that we're able to come, Lord Father, to the house of God to worship you in spirit and truth. We pray that you bless this meeting and bless our city. In Jesus' name we ask and pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Steve, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bollinger.
Here.
Mr. Fannin. Here. Mr. Hatmaker.
Here.
Mrs. Thompson.
Here.
Mayor Stanfield.
Here. Item number 4, approval of the minutes from the October 2016 adjourned session. What's council's pleasure?
Move with approval.
I have a motion by Joe to have a second.
Second.
Second. I'll leave that to the second. I won't say it. Okay. Call the roll, Stan.
Mr. Bollinger.
Yes.
Mr. Fannin.
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker.
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. If you haven't noticed, Ann's got laryngitis, so just bear with her. You can just nod your head if you want to. Okay, item number 5, reports from your boards, your committees, and your department head. What's council's pleasure?
Move to approve.
Have a motion by Bob, have a second. Have a second by Hanson, call the roll.
Mr. Bollinger.
Yes.
Mr. Fannin. Yes. Mr. Hatmaker.
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Motion carries. Item number 6, any comments from the citizens? Noted being none. Any announcements? I have one. After our regular meeting tonight, I told everybody I was going on to honor our flight to Washington, D.C., and I've asked some people to come here tonight. I have something on behalf of the city and the nation I'd like to present to the families that lost a loved one in Vietnam. I have Richard Long here, and I have Miss Laura Jonigan, and I have some stuff laid out on the table. Everybody's welcome to pick it up and look at it. And Walter Kirk right here. I never met Walt until about 6 or 7 weeks ago when we went on our flight, but he lives in La Follette. Walt went with me, and so did Floyd Birdsell. And it's an honor for me to have him as a friend. It's also an honor for me to have him as a Vietnam veteran. And I want to thank Walt for everything he's laid out here tonight. Thank you, Walt. Any more announcements? Noted being none. Okay, under ordinances and resolutions, item number 1. Resolutions 2016-23, Government 457 Deferred Compensation Plan funded by the employees. Barbara talked about it last night, and Drew Freeman's here tonight. Drew? You want to comment, Drew, on it? Or?
Sure, I can give you a quick update. And this actually pertains to the next item on your agenda tonight too, is the 401k. So we'll kind of talk about both. But I'm with the state of Tennessee Treasury Department. We're the same agency that runs the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. We offer the state of Tennessee 401k and 457 plans in addition to TCRS. It would be considered supplemental for your employees. This would just be a way for them to save in addition to retirement on top of what TCRS already does. So nothing is changing about TCRS. This simply offers you and your employees a secondary opportunity to save for retirement. It's the same plan that state employees have, like myself. It's the same plan that public school teachers have. So you already have some folks that live here in the area that have it. So it's a 401k, it's a post-tax 401k, and then a 457 plan. And employees can take advantage of all 3 of those options if they want to. It comes all with the plan. If someone wants to participate, it must be done through payroll deduction or through a rollover from another qualified plan, like if they had an IRA or something like that. But even the board can participate if you all are paid through payroll, which Barbara told me you were. So therefore, if you all want to participate, you could, just like any of the general employees throughout the city. One big thing, there's no minimum number of participants in order to adopt the plan. It is simply made available to them. If they choose not to do it, that's okay. We've had over 130 local government agencies, these are counties, cities, utilities, et cetera, across the state that have opted into the state's deferred compensation plans. And the biggest thing is there is no cost to the employer for doing this. This simply is employee funded, like you said, and employees have the option to use it or not use it. There's also no impact on TCRS for doing this. It doesn't change their benefit structure or anything like that. It's simply a supplemental way for them to save for retirement. And when someone starts to go into retirement, if they also have access to these plans, when they go through retirement counseling, which we offer, we'll pull all their information about TCRS, as well as all their information about their 401k and 457 plans, and have a comprehensive retirement conversation with them right there, all together. So they don't have to go to separate places to find out where all their income and retirement would be coming from. So that's basically the plan in a nutshell. I know Barbara's explained it to you a little bit more. There's really no fiduciary risk in doing this. We take on all that as a state, as the state's plan. We handle all the investments that are in the lineup. We pick those out. We kick those out that are underperforming. And our goal is to keep the fees really, really low. And for an employer like you all, about 100 employees, if you try to bid this out on your own, you're probably going to pay more. The people who participate are going to pay a higher fee structure. Whereas you're opting in with over 100,000 participants across the state, local governments, state agencies, school systems as well. It's simply a way to make this available for your employees.
People who already have a 401 separate from their retirement here cannot participate in another 401, can they?
I'm not sure that y'all have a current payroll
We don't,
deducted.
but let's say they would have their own.
Yeah, I mean, if they had something outside of the city's payroll, yeah, they could do both.
They can do both.
Yeah, it wouldn't affect anything that they would be doing here. You just can't have side by side.
You can't have more than 18.
Yeah. But if it's something you're doing outside of like a bank or something like that, they can continue to do that. There's nothing to stop them.
Okay.
Ms. Thompson has a question here. She's asking if there would be fees assessed.
Not to the city.
Not to the
The
city.
fees that would be involved are fees that are paid through the participant. So any retirement program where you're investing in different funds and things like that is going to have some fees with it in order to operate the plan. The state's plan is the lowest fees that I have seen, and I've comped probably 20 of these things that other local governments have. There are vendors that offer these directly to local agencies. And what we charge is anywhere between any fund that you pick in the lineup is going to have either a zero fee or what's called 24 basis points. And that would be if you had $1,000 in that plan, you would pay a fee of $2.40 as an administrative fee on that plan. All of the ones that I have comped and looked at what other cities and counties are doing, I've seen anywhere from 85 basis points to 95 basis points. I've seen some in the 150 range. Now, you think, what's the difference of, so that would be $15 if it was 150 versus $2.40. Well, in the short term, that's not a big difference on a $1,000 investment. But if you compound that over the course of a 10-year career, 20-year career, 30-year career, it could be a year's worth of salary that was paid out in fees instead of stayed in that account. So the idea is to try to get a plan that offers the lowest possible fee structure. And because we have the buying power of 100,000 people in the plan, we are able to offer a much lower fee structure.
Now this monies that the employees or whoever puts in will be invested in the market, I'm sure.
They are.
Now, do they have a choice, a selection?
Yes, yes. So if they choose to do it and they don't know what they want to do, they'll be defaulted into a target date fund, which is based upon typically their retirement date. Okay, but they can choose anything from fixed income accounts, small cap, large caps. They can get very sophisticated. They can do a managed account process as well. So they have all those. It's a 16 fund lineup, so they have a variety of things in
Is there more questions? That's good. Okay, what's council's pleasure? Thank you, Drew.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2016-23.
Okay, have a motion by Bob, to have a second.
Second motion.
Have a second by Joe, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin,
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Before I go to item number 2, Gene Gunner and Brandon Mars, you please come up front. We talked about this last night in the workshop, what an outstanding job is done over at Knoxville, competing in the farmers contest at the Sun Spirit. And on behalf of myself and my council, we want to appreciate you guys for doing a great job, and you make us very proud of the Havens as firefighters. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 2, resolutions 2016-24, offering a 401k defined contribution plan.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Bob, have a second.
Second.
Have a second by Joe, call the roll.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin,
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Before we go on, Mr. Fannin had a question about our defined retirement up at the utility.
Yes.
This one here at the city, they say gives
48%.
48%. Ours comes in somewhere up there between 39 and 42%.
Okay. We need to get, somehow we need to work that way to get similar. That's up to the team. We'll talk about that. Thank you. Thank you for that.
All right, item number 3, resolutions 2016-25, amendments to the original budget 2016-2017, budget capital project funds, CV grant project. What's council's pleasure?
Move to approve.
Motion by Joe, second by Bob, call the roll, Steve.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin,
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 4, resolutions 2016-26, authorizing approval to participate in the TML Property Conservation Matching Grant Fund. What's council's pleasure?
Mayor, I'll make a motion on resolution 2016-26.
Have a motion by Mr. Hatmaker, to have a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Thompson, call the roll, Steve.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin,
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 5, resolutions 2016-27, amendments to the original 2016-2017 budget. What's council's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Fannin, have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hatmaker, call the roll, Steve.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin,
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Under Codes Department, item number 1, approval for Alcoa Builders to proceed to build on lots on North 11th Street. Daniel, you brought it up last night. What's your,
Well, when we went to the planning commission, it was denied to the planning commission for the minutes back in 1984. It would be up to you all to go back and revise that or change that.
okay, it's still not on? Okay,
So
so
we attempted to get a hold of Miss Ashburn today, but wasn't able to. But if you look at the lot, it required 30,000 feet for the 16 units. That left 3,504 feet. In the map Ms. Lobertini gave us, it's 6,000 square feet for the first family, 3,000 for the second family, which is a total of 9,000. If this is a standalone lot, it would have to meet those requirements. The math they have used has used the 1,500 square feet to tack it on to the apartments. It's not attached to the apartments, and it's on a completely separate lot. So if you take the 9,000 square feet, then it would not meet the zone densities at this time.
so it's the same thing it was then, it's not a conforming lot, right? That's your recommendation, Jim?
Yes.
Okay, what's council's pleasure?
Mayor, I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and approve this and on 11th Street. And the reason I'm doing this, code enforcement says it meets all the requirements. Our surveyor, y'all were in the meeting when he said that it met all requirements. It's changed hands 3 times since 1984. And it should have been took care of in 84, but it wasn't. So now here we are today, trying to correct some problems that happened in 1984. So I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead and approve this building permit on, I don't know if it's Alcoa Builders, I don't know if it's in their name or whose it is, but whoever's name it's in.
Mr. Hatmaker, MCAS attorney says it don't.
Now,
Our attorney says it doesn't. Confirm.
well, the attorney's not, he's not a surveyor. He didn't make that decision in 1984, and he's not the code enforcement. So by those 3 people making the statement that it met the requirements, then I don't have any other choice but go what they say, not what our attorney says. Even though it should have been researched and he said it should have been corrected in 84, but it wasn't.
You know, I want to second that motion because the mistake we made in 1984 shouldn't prevent Mr. Cox or whoever owns that, who's going to do the duplexes from doing it. I looked at the land, there's plenty of land for the apartments in that bow. I know it doesn't meet the density as written, but the mistake was made in 1984 and the people paid. It was made in 1984, the mistake was made. And we shouldn't penalize them today.
Well, I disagree with you.
That's okay.
The mistake was not on the city's planning behalf. They asked Mr. Cox to do certain things, and he didn't follow through and attach it to the apartment complex.
Listen, I agree with everything you're saying, but it's somewhere it has to come back to us to make sure once whoever made that in 1984, and you were here. Were you here, Joe? I don't know if you were there. I wasn't here. But whoever did this didn't follow through with what they were supposed to be doing.
Well, they asked Mr. Cox to do it. He didn't follow through on it.
Well, I agree, but the city is responsible at the very end.
Well, if you break it down, like he said, it don't meet the density, and you just open it up or something on down the road later or something.
Well, this would be giving him a variance, is that correct, to do that?
It would take a huge variance.
Much of a variance.
I think it's almost 5,000 square feet short. Big zone density.
Tracy, you want to answer that?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. If you consider that piece of property has to be attached and still used as green space, it has to be either or. It can't be both. So if it is still to be attached, either by easement or by attachment somehow to the other, then you could still use the 1,500 square foot because it's not physically attached, but it's still attached and being used as green space. If it's severed, as it should be, it's a severed piece of property, then you need the 9,000 and you have 11,000. So if it's severed, you have enough. If it's attached, you have enough.
Say that one more time.
If you still consider that the
No,
ruling...
it's about if it's attached and not attached.
Okay, so if you consider that it still needs to be available as green space
Yes, ma'am.
to the original 16 units, then even though physically attached, that density requirement, that ordinance that I brought last night, it doesn't say that it has to be one building. It's saying on that lot. So if it is to be attached and used as one unit to still provide that green space, 1,500 per unit should still be allowed. If it's severed and you give a variance to those units and it's a freestanding lot, you have 11,000 square feet of land and you require 9. So that way it works. If it's still attached in our consideration as it was in 1984, then you still have enough. Because it doesn't say in that requirement that that has to be a continuous building. It's the required for the density.
Well, you have to, and Stan will tell you this, you have to go back, you can't, have two structures using the same property. They'd have to go back and redo the property.
Is that true, Stan?
That, Joe, that's what I'm getting at. This thing has been drug on and on and on. Do we learn from our mistakes that other people does, or do we just continue making them and going down the road?
Well, we're trying to keep from making another mistake now.
That's
Mr.
right.
Hatmaker.
And we're cutting off a lawsuit here if we go ahead and issue this permit.
Mayor, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Question, I ask for a question for a vote.
Okay. Call the roll, Stan.
Mr. Bollinger,
No.
Mr. Fannin,
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker,
Yes?
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carried. All right. Item number 1 in the fire department. Researching the front of fire station number 2, estimated cost of $14,000. Jimmy talked about it last night in the workshop. What's council's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Fannin, have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hatmaker, call the roll.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin.
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker.
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Under police department, item number 1, promoting Steve Carroll to a full-time, currently part-time, at a salary of $28,580. Effective starting date is 11/12/2016. What's council's pleasure?
I make a motion to promote Mr. Carroll.
Second.
Have a motion by Bob, a second by Joe, call the roll.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin.
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker.
Yes?
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Under public works department, partner with the county on paving. Oh my God. Hey Steve, you buying supper tonight, man? Okay, under public works, item number 1, partnering with the county on paying half the cost of paving the senior citizens parking lot. Estimated cost for the city is $9,300, also $9,300 for the county. We talked about that last night. What's council's pleasure?
Mayor, I would like to table this.
Okay.
I say, table doesn't require a second, it doesn't require a vote,
It is a purple, okay,
it doesn't require a second.
okay.
I checked it today to be sure.
All right. Call the roll, Shane.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fannin.
Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker.
Yes?
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. Under public works, that'll be tabled to a later date.
Mayor, if they table that, it's on that resolution. It's on that resolution.
And resolution to 21617.
Okay.
On yeah, it's on that resolution to amend the budget, if you'd like to go back and strike that off, that one section off of it.
Okay. Do I have a motion to strike that part off the original budget? Okay.
I make a motion to do
I have a motion by Bob, have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Andy, call the
Yeah,
roll.
either way.
Yes.
Mr. Fannin.
that. Yes.
Mr. Hatmaker.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Anything else come before this council? No, being none, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming, and now.
Call the order of the beer board. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Fannin.
Here.
Mr. Hatmaker.
Here.
Mayor Stanfield.
Here.
Ms. Thompson.
Here.
Chairman Bollinger.
Does there be no permits, no previous minutes, entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion, I make.